You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
From Estero, Florida, this is the One Extraordinary Marriage Show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex has taken the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. Creators of the 6 Pillars of Intimacy, I'm Tony DiLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call or text us on the Hug Hotline at 858-876-5663. Or send us an email to hugs@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. In today's episode, we're talking about why sex feels different in the midlife season and what you can do when desire, energy, and even your bodies aren't responding the way they used to.
And I just want to share this anonymous quote that says, "Intimacy is not static. It evolves as we do." And that is something to think about no matter where you are, age, stage, marriage journey. It is an evolution to really create extraordinary intimacy in a marriage.
And I would say that would be like sexual intimacy is not static.
I would actually say all intimacies are not static, but as we're talking about sexual intimacy in today's episode, yes, we are singularly focused on sexual intimacy. And we start every episode with a hug. And a hug is really an opportunity to celebrate you, what you're doing in your marriage, just the intentionality that you're putting into this relationship. And this hug comes from a comment that was in Intimacy Mastery that says, "Our Connect group met last night, and as much as we believe it is God's calling for us to share the 6 pillars in group settings, we struggle with confidence, but always trust God to use us. So in obedience we lead, and He never fails to provide." Last night we had an amazing conversation with the group around how challenging it is to ask for what you need in relationships. We hadn't even listened to the podcast that you had done that morning, but when we did, we stood in awe that God would once again use Tony and Elisa at the right time for our group. We know it impacted many, but for it to be exactly what we needed to bring clarity to the conversation was such an affirmation that He's working. When you step out in obedience to His calling, He always provides. We're humbled and thankful, and we share this because if you feel the call to share this life-changing framework, be prepared to be blessed and supported beyond your expectations. Thank you for leading in your community. That's how marriages change, one honest conversation at a time.
I love it. And hey, if you haven't picked up the 6 Pillars of Intimacy, pick it up. Number 1, that is our framework, the 6 Pillars of Intimacy, the secret to an extraordinary marriage. Go to 6pillarsofintimacy.com. If you have, you've read it, you've used it, think about taking it to your community. Lead a small group, a community group, a connect group, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's even just in your neighborhood, but go do it. And it doesn't matter if 1 couple shows up or 10 couples show up. You're impacting somebody's life, somebody's marriage, and I'm telling you, it matters. So I just want to say that we hear from people who are like, "Oh, we only have 1 or 2 couples," and I'm thinking, man, that's amazing. Like 1 or 2 couples are willing to raise their hand and say, "We need somebody in our life to share with us so we can learn." So go do it. We're here to support you. In the workbook, there is a leader's guide that you can go to, get some information so you can lead a small group. But we're here. Tony and Elisa, we're here. If you need something, reach out to us.
So as Tony said at the top, we're talking about why sex feels different in the midlife season. And I just want to address from the get-go, some of you are thinking, well, I'm not in the midlife season. We haven't gotten there yet. So I just want to say, just because you haven't gotten there doesn't mean you won't get there. Because however you define midlife, it's coming. And sex will be different when you hit that season of life. So don't turn us off. Don't say this doesn't apply to me. I actually like to think of it kind of like what I do when I'm working with newlyweds. Look, if you've got the information now, how much better prepared will you be when you're like, oh, some things are a little different. And you'll have language to work around it. So you're not just like, oh, crud, I can't talk to my spouse. So if you are not there, don't turn it off. If you've already been past that season, because we know we've got many of you that are in your 50 plus years of marriage and beyond, you might know a younger couple that needs to tune in, and this might be the episode. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's still for you. And we're super excited to be talking about this today because we've been having a lot of conversations, stuff that's going on between Tony and I, what happens when we are at live events with you guys. We've recently been to Hillsborough, Ohio, and Louisiana up in the Ruston, Monroe area. And so we've been having these conversations there. I've been having conversations with the women that I have the privilege to lead in what was Menopause Shouldn't Suck and is now Bold Wives Club. But we've been having a lot of these conversations about the changes in sexual intimacy in midlife. So much so that we're like, you know what? We need to revisit this. Because recently on Instagram stories, we asked you, how has your sexual intimacy changed over the years? 63% said a lot.
Wow. Okay.
28% said a little. 3% said not really.
Okay.
And 6% said it's complicated. That's a lot of people that have experienced change in their sexual intimacy over time. And
that would be like 97%.
If you were doing all the math, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Take out.
Yeah. If you take out the 3% that said not really. Yeah. So, and what happens, and I see this a lot of time in coaching conversations, is that there's this thought pattern that starts to develop that if sex changes, something must be wrong, instead of looking at it and going, if our sex life is changing, if our sexual intimacy is changing, what else in our life is changing? Can we start to look at the intersections of the things that are happening in our lives, how our bodies are changing, hormone fluctuations, hello, menopause and andropause, health challenges, schedules changing, family dynamics, and simply just the season of life that you're in. All of those changes.
I would even say just the season of the year.
Yes.
Especially with the winter we've had this year, even here in Florida. I mean, I would suspect even the changing season, like of the year, winter, spring, summer, fall, that type of stuff could honestly have an impact on some folks.
Well, I know even when we were in Ohio, I was having a conversation with one couple and just talking about, the impact of seasonal affectiveness disorder. And just, those shorter days, less sunlight, how that starts.
It was snowing when we were there. It was affecting me.
It was great, which makes for really great photos.
Very good photos, but not great sexual intimacy.
But even when we came back
because it didn't happen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just got called out on the air, you guys.
No. I'm just saying neither of us really, and I'm calling myself out too. It wasn't like I was pursuing you that hard either when we were up there. It was cold, and I was like, I just need to stay warm, even in bed. I was just like, I just don't even want to get out of bed.
Yeah, it's just, and now it's cold. It was cold in Florida, and just, it's a thing. That's why we're looking forward to, cruising and being in Africa and all of that kind of good stuff. Getting warm. But it's also looking at this place too, where I think a lot of us, and we've talked about this over the last few episodes, but we look back on who we were and how our bodies responded in the past, and we want that instead of saying, okay, here's where we're at. How do we address and what do we do now? Because the other question that we asked is, what does desire look like in this season? And 45% said one of us wants it more. 25% said it mostly fluctuates, and 21% were mostly aligned, which left the 8% that says we just avoid the topic altogether.
Okay.
Which is not surprising.
But that's a very low number as well as, when you see it like avoid the topic altogether, only 8%. I feel like that's good.
We're actually proud of you that it's only 8% of you that are avoiding the topic.
That's really good. Now, you could say 45% says one of us wants it more, and then you're also part of that avoids the topic group. But, it could be a little fluctuating because this is only pick one answer. And yet, I think, if we look at this, one wants it more than the other. I think that's spot on. Like, that's what we have seen over the years. It fluctuates. I would say, yep, been there, done that. Even in our own marriage, there have been times when you're more high than myself and vice versa, just depending on what's going on. And then there have been times when I'd say, yes, we've been mostly aligned.
Yeah.
And so, and then avoid the topic. I think there are times in our marriage, like we've done all 4 of these. Let me just say that.
Look,
We've done
when you're
all
coming
4
up on
of
30
those.
years, a lot of these times when we ask you guys questions, we're like, okay, well, what are all our answers?
Yeah.
And we fall into these places. And, it is even, not only are we navigating our bodies changing and health challenges and things like that, but we're also looking at desire and what does that look like? I am definitely more in the reactive desire where we need to get started before my body is like, oh yeah, remember you like this, which is really kind of a funny conversation. Tony's like, I don't understand your selective memory around this. You enjoy it. It's good. It helps you go to sleep. All of these things. It's like every day is like a whole new, you've got to remind yourself about it. What was that movie? It was like,
is it Groundhog Day?
No, 41st Dates or something like that with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler, where like she didn't remember. And so every day he like had to share their love story again.
Oh, wow.
I feel like this is kind of like you have to every day.
It's literally, this is what I have to go through at times with Elisa. It's like, honey, you enjoy this. Like,
and I do. Like he's not having to convince me.
No, I'm not. But I just have to like remind her, like, hey, you enjoy being sexually intimate and you get a lot out of it. Like, you release all the stress, like when you have an orgasm and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, oh yeah. But she is a reactive desire, which is we got to get going. We got to get into it. She's not. Every once in a while, she can be very much like, all right, I'm ready to go. And it's like catches me off guard because I'm like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, like what are you doing? Like that's usually my approach to it. So,
but even for you, like having to navigate just some of the challenges and changes that you've gone through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just recently dealing with an erection that could go flaccid at times. And that desire side of it, you know what I mean? Like feeling like, oh wow, like I can get an erection in the middle of the day was sort of like a no-go. And just started doing some research, and we have done an episode, I'll have to look back on it, but we talked about Kegeling many years ago, but that was very much focused on, if I can remember correctly, on the wives or the woman doing that Kegeling. And so I just sort of had this thought in the back of my head. I'm like, we did it. We talked about it. And so I started doing some research and learning about like the pelvic floor, like both male and female have this. And then so I just went on this journey and I found a app for men to Kegel. And over the last 30 days, I was doing it. Like I only missed a couple of days just because of things coming up, and I was doing it twice a day when I was doing it. And I found that I was strengthening my pelvic floor, but that was making a difference in our sexual intimacy as well. I was feeling the strengthening of that pelvic floor. I mean, I could actually feel that. I know many a times you made mention, not at the very beginning of it, but towards the end of that, like you would make.
I saw an improvement.
Yeah.
Actually, I looked it up. It was episode 488.
That we did that. Okay,
we
so
did that.
I will put
2019.
I will put that in the episode notes just so if you want to listen to that one. But I mean, maybe in the future we'll do one because I'm still sort of like, hey, I want to do some more of this to keep seeing what happens as I strengthen that pelvic floor. What I'm realizing, it's a muscle, just like my biceps, just like my chest, just like my quads or my hamstrings. And that was the thing I needed to see in my own head and test to be like, oh, wait a minute. This is something that if I stay consistent with it, how does that impact my sexual health, which you don't necessarily see your pelvic floor. Like you're not looking at it in the mirror and going like, man, I got jacked. Or I'm taking testosterone. I'm still taking my HRT, my testosterone, which has helped a lot. But adding the Kegeling to it has been huge.
All of the pelvic floor therapists that listen are like, he just said you can't see it get jacked. I love that. I love that. They're like, yeah, but it's there and it's true. So to all the pelvic floor therapists, thank you for what you do.
Yes.
Because that's another, modality to help strengthen this. And it's true because, as we age and Tony didn't tell me that he was doing the Kegeling to start with. It came a little bit after when he was like, oh, I think I'm starting to see something. But we get into also identifying, like, for all of you, what feels hardest about sexual intimacy in this season. And you guys would say things like menopause and lack of desire, ED issues, getting my brain to stay in it, physical limitations after a stroke, the adult children living at home, getting our bodies to work the way we want to. And what I love is that some of you are just like, nothing, we're having the best sex ever. And it's getting better and better at 55. So again, we have the full gamut of, hey, we're struggling, to things are really good. And I think what's important is to know that we're all somewhere on a spectrum. It isn't just all black and white. There's a lot of gray because of all of the things that we're navigating in midlife. And that also highlights the fact that it's not one size fits all when it comes to sexual intimacy. And as we've shared from, a couple of the stages we've been on in the last few weeks, that sexual intimacy doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It needs strong emotional intimacy, these conversations to happen in order for that to all be extraordinary. Because in silence, and I've said this, in the absence of information, the imagination runs wild. And that imagination, when it comes to your sexual intimacy, can be shame. It can be assumptions. It's those stories that are getting written internally. And instead of looking at this season and going, okay, what are our opportunities here? We're like crafting whole narratives. I've told you guys this many, many times over the last 16 years. You're phenomenal screenwriters because you create this whole movie scene of like destruction in your marriage instead of saying, hey, we have an incredible opportunity to adapt and to develop this together and to be intentional in this area. And we're going to talk about how to do that after this break. Long work weeks and busy weekends can leave you feeling and looking depleted. It's something we think about when we're traveling so much. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet works at the cellular level to reset and rejuvenate you from the inside out, supporting sustained fat loss, lean muscle, metabolism, slower aging, and even glowing skin. What I love is that no matter the season, when I need a reset, having a structured program like Prolon is a must for me. It's super convenient. I love how every day is prepackaged so I don't have to think. Prolon is a plant-based nutrition program featuring soups, snacks, and beverages designed to nourish the body while keeping it in a fasting state. Ready for your own reset? For a limited time, Prolon is offering One Extraordinary Marriage listeners 15% off site-wide plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just visit prolonlife.com/marriage. That's prolonlife.com/marriage to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. prolonlife.com/marriage.
Close your eyes. Listen to Monday.com. Feel the sensation of an AI work platform. So flexible and intuitive, it feels like it was built just for you. Now open your eyes, go to Monday.com, start for free, and finally breathe.
We're back. And we're discussing how to navigate the midlife sexual intimacy season, how to do it well and not just go silent on one another or not just be in this place of, well, that's as good as it gets, right? Tony could have done that. He could have said, well, this is just going to be the state of my erection. And like, I'm just going to have to deal with it. It's just going to be like, so.
Yeah. And I felt like there are times when I was there. Let me tell you straight up. Like, there are definitely times when I was like, what the heck is going on? When I feel like I'm healthy at 52 and doing everything that I think that I should be doing, and yet still feeling like at times, and we did a whole episode around this because it was just talking about, how strong the mind is and how that can impact. But I feel like with me taking charge of this part of my body and looking at it from a different view, not looking at like medication or anything of that nature, just going, okay, what is there? And again, Kegeling just came up and just started doing some research on that pelvic floor and the importance of it. And then seeing it actually work out was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. Like, yeah. I'm seeing the impact. And then for you to actually take notice of it without me even saying anything to you, I was like, oh, okay. For myself, this is working. And it's the same thing we tell and share with you guys almost every week. Got to be intentional. and you got to take action. And sometimes it's not like what your spouse has to do. It's a, what can I do? And so just to say, like, I sit here as well, just like you, going, what can I do? Like, do I go to a doctor? Do I look up medications? Do I try something like Kegling? What can I do? And for myself, that was the action I decided to take first to see, all right, does this make a difference in having sex at midlife, at where I'm at? And for me, it's a heck yes. So I'm going to keep doing it and keep, practicing, because interestingly enough, I don't want to give out the app just yet. I think if I do another episode, Elise and I do another episode, I'll do it. I don't want to give it out just yet. But there are many levels to it. And it's really like, wow, it's like an exercise program, but for your pelvic floor. So I'm still testing it. I don't want to give that out just yet.
I mean, and I think that's like with anything that we do here, it's like we want to make sure we don't just say things for you guys. It's getting into the, like we want things fully vetted for all of you. But as we're talking about this and what this looks like for you guys this week, I just want to say, expect change. It's going to come. It may not be dramatic, but there can be subtle changes in midlife sex than, what sexual intimacy looked like in your 20s and 30s. Some of those changes are going to be positive. Some of those are going to be having you scratching your head. But getting into this place of, and I was actually just saying this to some coaching clients last night, like, what does sexual intimacy look like in this season? How do you define it? What counts as sexual intimacy? If it's not just this, like, do we check the box? Do we have intercourse or not? Like, what is it for us? And here's the thing. You two are allowed to define that for the two of you, and it doesn't have to look like anybody else.
And I will also say, because when we were speaking, and I remember a couple in Ohio specifically, just talking about how they're in the quickie season.
Yeah.
And that is where they're at with the children they have, the ages where they're at. And you may have been in that season for a long time, and you need to begin to shift your mindset towards looking at sexual intimacy as we define it in the 6 pillars of intimacy as romance, initiating, foreplay, and sexual intercourse. You have been so set in your guys' way of just like, it's a quickie, it's a quickie, it's a quickie, that you may need to slow down a little bit and do a little more foreplay. And that's a change, because how does that change that dynamic, that closeness and connection that the two of you have? Because you've been in a way of doing your sexual intimacy for so long where it's just sort of like, we have to get it done quick. Now it's like, oh, wait a minute. I have to hold an erection for longer than 3 minutes, 4 minutes, because that's what a quickie is pretty much. Now I'm going to have to hold an erection for 5, 10 minutes as we enjoy foreplay together. And I will tell you, as a man in my 50s, that was one of the challenges I face, is going from erection to flaccid, because things are going on, and realizing like, okay, how do I continue to have that erection throughout the duration of foreplay and then into intercourse? So you may be coming out of a season where it's like quick, and now it's longevity. What does that look like? So many people are like, oh, I just would love that. That would be amazing. I agree. And yet when your body and your mindset has been so set on 3 to 4 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, those are different stories.
Yeah.
In different areas in a season that you're in, and going like, man, can I maintain this? And even for you as a wife, going, can I stay in this? And do I want to? Like, I mean, I know even for you and I at times, you're just sort of like, okay, I got it. Like we've been going on foreplay. It's enough already. Like let's go here. Like, come on.
True story. Like there's no way to say no, that doesn't happen, because it does.
Yeah.
And again, we're always so honest with you guys behind these microphones. But it's not just being in this place of saying, okay, like bodies are going to change, erections are going to change, orgasms are going to change. Like, how do we adapt? But it's also getting into the conversations around desire, not just having this be a scorecard of, well, you always wanted, or I never wanted, or, whatever that might be. It's changing the conversation to, hey, like, what does initiating look like for you right now? What helps you feel more open to intimacy? What makes it harder? Like having these conversations outside the bedroom, because you guys know how we feel about talking about sexual intimacy, especially these deeper conversations in the place where you're most often sexually intimate. But learning who your spouse is now, because when you come at it and you can ask these questions gently, that curiosity, like, where are you? I mean, guys, Tony and I are going on 30 years of marriage right now, like in this October. And so being in this place of saying, hey, like what does initiating look like now? What makes it like intimacy easier? I mean, I will tell you, any day that the kids are not in the house, like, and we know they're going to be out for an extended period of time, we're both like, okay, how does this work into the schedule? Because again, adult children living at home, our time looks different.
And yet we're still very aware when they are here, and we are still being sexually intimate when they are here.
Yes.
And as I told some couples, like, hey, because it was this conversation of like, well, what do we do? Do we have sex when the kids are at home and all this? And I'm like, absolutely you do.
Just like, lock your door.
Like, lock your door if you feel comfortable, if you have to lock your door or whatever it may be. But we still, as parents, as husband and wife, need to be sexually intimate. And if we're only trying to make that happen when our adult children are not here, that can limit our time. And so what I said is, we tend to be just very quiet. And when you're quiet, it can be very intense. It's like, we're not hanging from the chandeliers.
We still do not have a chandelier in our bedroom. Stop.
And all the stuff when the kids are at home. That just isn't happening.
Right. It's a different experience.
It's a different experience. And yet we're still going to be sexually intimate with them here. Like,
well, and I even asked, because I came up on that conversation, and I asked the question, because like, they're like, do your kids know? And I'm like, well, it's not like we're like broadcasting it on the family text thread. Hey, we're having sex right now. But what I asked her, I said, what do you want for their future marriages? And she looked at me and I said, do you want your kids' future marriages? Do you want them to be sexually intimate into their, 30s, 40s, and 50s? And she's like, yeah. I go, well, then they need to know that still happens.
Yep.
Because we are setting the precedent for what our kids are going to do. Another aspect of this is, we've been talking about all these changes, whether it's menopause, ED, health changes, the medication that you're on, like all of these different things can create embarrassment, right? Struggling to get an erection, dealing with low libido due to medications, like all different kinds of things can happen.
I think it's embarrassment and confidence.
Lack of confidence?
Yes. When things like that begin to happen.
Yes, it erodes the confidence.
It erodes the confidence that you have in where you once were. Mm-hmm. And that begins to play out in your head, in your body, and into your sexual intimacy.
Well, and that's why, please, if you are on medications, talk to your doctors. Mm-hmm. Please, if you're noticing a change in libido, in orgasm, erection, all of that, I know it's hard to bring it up, but if they don't know, they can't tell you if that's a side effect of your medication and maybe something needs to be adjusted. You might have to try new rhythms, different times of the day, or, having these conversations about what works now. And I even shared this next one with some couples recently while we were, live. And I said, sometimes you just laugh. Like, not in a bad way, but sometimes you try something and you're like, wow, that did not work. Good try. Go team. And you high five and you're just like, okay, you know what? We just have to keep adapting. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, this is the person that you said I do to. And having those conversations, having that ability to talk through these things, that's what creates the extraordinary. That's what gets you into this place of saying, you know what, we are at midlife and we are having deeper, more connected sex. We feel more intentional. It feels richer in that connection between the two of us, but it doesn't happen by accident. It's not like you're suddenly just going to wake up one day in midlife, whatever that is for you, and be like, wow, we're like, this is the best thing ever. It's all about the intentionality that you bring to things.
Yeah. And as you look at your sexual intimacy, you may be in midlife like Elisa and I are, and some of you may be younger, some of you be older. Wherever you are, whatever season you're in, take what we shared here today and have the conversation. The emotional intimacy leads this. Take it outside the bedroom. Go for a walk and talk. Discuss it. Have the courage. Husbands, I'm talking to you. If something is going on where you are feeling off in your sexual performance, have the courage to speak to your wife about it. Share what's going on. I know even for myself, and I do this with Elisa, sometimes just getting behind my microphone, it allows me to just share what's going on with her or with me to her. And we then can take that conversation a bit deeper off the microphones. And so I would encourage each of you, no matter where you are, what's happening, whatever season you may be in, have a deep sexual intimacy conversation this week. And I'm going to say this. If you're like, I don't know what questions to ask. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to bring it up. It's difficult for me to do this. It's not the normal thing we do in our marriage or have done in our marriage. We have an amazing marriage guide called 19 Questions to Amazing Sex. Pick it up. Go grab it. Go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com/19Q. Look at those questions and begin to ask those to one another so you can open up your sexual intimacy where you are now. And you may even want to bring it up. It would be like, this is where it was back then. This is where I am now. And it can help you unlock this pillar of intimacy. You guys have yourselves a fantastic week. We'll catch you next week. Love you guys.